Hey folks, this is E-Man with Kadesh Farm. Wanted to give you guys an update. I had purchased some hay from a couple about, I did a video on it, I don't know, it was full of clover seeds. And I thought I was gonna have to wait till spring to see the rewards of the clover. Boy, was I wrong. I immediately, once we got the hay here, I started feeding it to Molly, which is our cow right there. And look what we have here. I was just so shocked. We finally got some rain here in Middle Tennessee. We were under an extreme drought for about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. We didn't have rain for a long time. And I put seed out here that I got on the discount. Also had the clover, basically hay that was full of clover that I put out here. If you watch another video I did on how I was distributing the clover seeds with a mesh wagon, and also I was feeding the hay to Molly, and I am seeing the results of it right now. Finally got a little bit of rain, and as you can see, there's tons of her manure with clover seeds starting to sprout now that we've had a decent amount of rain. We're still behind on our water or on our precipitation. Let's go over here. There's plenty over here. I'm just so excited about this. I feel like this spring we are going to be busting at the seams. I had the soil tested back when we first bought the property, and it tested very low on everything because this land was basically just used for hay by a person that didn't own it. All that person did was just stripped it of what he needed and never added anything back to it. And I bought it for the purpose of raising livestock. And look at that one right there. It's just full of seeds. And I knew I was going to be in it for a minute to build the soil up, which is a process, and I'm enjoying it along the way. I get to learn, but also I get to teach others. Look at there. I'm just so excited to be able to share this with you guys, that Molly, just a single cow that we have out here for this at this time, she's doing a very good job of spreading the seeds. In this area out here, I kept her in this area just because of the drought. There was no need in me trying to move her anywhere. I was giving her hay, but I was spreading it out. I didn't unroll it. It was just so dry out here. As you can see, as far as you can see, it's a sea of broom sedge. And I will win because I have the recipe to succeed at this. It may be a process, but that's okay. It'll be a process that I can learn along the way. Also help teach others to succeed at dealing with dilapidated pastures or farmland. This has a lot of little shrubberies in it. I noticed when I cut it with my lawnmower on the lowest setting, you still get your feet caught up on the stobs, and I can just imagine what is happening to Molly as she steps on them. So I stopped cutting this. As you can see, I cut a lot of this over here. Then I realized what I was doing to her. She really would tiptoe in the area that I cut. So I may have to come up with another method of getting rid of these little shrubs and trees that are growing. Again, this property was just used for hay. Nothing was added to it. And the person that I purchased the land from, he ran horses and just basically let them do whatever. So this land is torn up from the horses with their hooves, and there's not a smooth spot on this property that the horses have been on. I know there are people out there that are horse lovers. I was raised with horses. It's just not my thing at this point in my life. We are interested in setting ourselves up for success in regards to providing food, and that's what we're going to stick to for right now. I mean, it's just everywhere I walk, I see clover that is springing up in her manure. Like I said, I did take my little wagon with the mesh bottom, and I rode it around, pulling it with my four-wheeler, and I just distributed seeds wherever I could. Rough as this ground was, it did a very good job of spreading the seeds. And I am finally seeing the fruit of my labor. Well, actually, Molly's labor. I provided the seed, and she did what she had to do. The Lord provided the water, and it is doing its thing for us. She is set up on a Onewire system, and we've trained her from a very young age. And whatever cow that I do decide to purchase, or cows, they will have to be able to be maintained with a Onewire system. And I will be purchasing from folks that use electric fencing for their livestock. Our sheep are trained to 2 wires. I could probably do 1 wire, especially the older, but the younger, they have a tendency, if they can get under it, they will crawl under it. We have our dogs that are trained to 1 wire, even though we may have one that's a little bit hard-headed. But every day I hear them getting a painful experience of what that single wire is out there. This has a little bit of grass down underneath, and she's been munching along. We went out of town, and I knew it was going to be some extreme cold weather while we were out of town, so I put a roll of hay out, and man, she demolished it. It was some hay that I bought from a guy that had a little bit of mixture of things in it. It wasn't sprayed, that was the main thing, and I was okay with purchasing it. And she destroyed that roll of hay within a week. Looking at her manure, she could probably use a little more protein. So, you know, with the drought and the way this land is, I may have to do another protein tub. I cannot wait till I not have to purchase another one. So I need to increase her protein because her manure is a little bit chunky. But it's a process. She's my girl. We're gonna take care of her. This is the spot that I had to roll of hay. She got it pretty thick. I'm gonna make her clean it up a little more so we could get some growth out of this come spring. So it's probably 5 or 6 inches thick, but she may clean it up a little bit more. But you've noticed she got manure all over the place. I went and pulled some hay that had more clover in it, and she's working on it over here for me. We do feed her some alfalfa cubes as a treat. She's a dairy cow, so we got her spoiled. She's very tame. And we have milked her in the past. We just haven't had an opportunity to get her bred again. But it's something that we're working on for the future because we want to take care of ourselves when it comes to providing our own. As you can see along here where I've been putting the seeds or the hay, there is clover growing all down through here. I took her off of this today. She's been on this for 2 months roughly, and I'm gonna go ahead and take her off. I do have some gamma grass seeds that I put off in this to help her trample it down into the ground, or for her to help me by putting it down into the ground. Hopefully we can get a stand of gamma grass to start growing down here. That's our goal. This is going to be our summer warm season grass field. This area down here is considered the soggy bottom, and gamma grass is okay with a little bit of moisture. But I noticed when we first bought this property, man, it used to just, the water never did soak into the ground. But since we've been out here and putting her, just a single cow, and unrolling hay, rotating her throughout this, I've noticed that the soil is beginning to retain the moisture down under and not allow it to set on top. So it is doing a very good job of retaining the moisture. And I almost fell. I do have some wheat seeds and what's this? Wheat seed. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's hard to see it. I have wheat seed, cereal grain, ryegrass, clover, and some other cool season grasses that I have over here. And I'm just trying to get the soil built up. That area down there, I wish I would have cut it like I did over here. I will eventually cut it or burn it. This field, when we did burn it last last spring, I believe. No, yeah, I think it was last spring. It didn't burn completely because it was a little moist when we did burn. So I can either cut it, bring a bush hog and my tractor and cut it, or burn it. I hadn't really made my mind up on how I want to take care of this. I'll take you over to a spot where we had some hay that had fescue in it. This is another one that it was the extreme cold, and I did not want to have to unroll it. You could probably see that round circle round through there. And it seemed to, she come over, and that was the first thing when I did put her over here. She hammered this section right here. So I'm gonna let it recover. I removed her off completely and let it recover. And hopefully we can get a little bit of fescue. I know people talk about fescue toxicity, but as long as I got clover mixed in with it, I think we'll be okay. I let this kind of stay because there were rabbits that were bedding off into this stuff. It's just a work in progress. We do have some cool season grasses that are beginning to sprout now that we have a little bit of rain. And like I said, we're so far behind on our rain percentage. It's just unreal. Just a week or two ago, walking out here, my feet would be crunching on the dry grass. So what little bit of moisture that we are getting, it is paying off. The hay that I bought with the seeds in it, man, I knocked that one over the fence. So make sure when you do go out and purchase seeds, not seeds, go out and purchase hay. One, ask if it's sprayed, because you don't want grass zone in your hay, because the long-term effect of grass zone, I've learned the hard way, it is just horrible. That's more clover. Just make sure you ask, hey, do you spray your hay? And if they say yes, ask with what? And if it's sprayed and you're okay with it, that's your choice. But I would, if I were you, I wouldn't buy hay that has been sprayed, especially for cows and sheep and goats. Try and stay away from that as much as possible, because the long-term effect is just not worth it. And when you have to buy a roll that is sprayed, put it somewhere where you don't mind it having a sustained amount of damage. Because trust me, I learned with the other 5-acre farm, we got a section that will not grow anything but fescue. And that is not just what I want. I want a multitude of grasses to grow. As you can see, a lot of clover is off in this section here. So always ask if the hay is sprayed. If it is, ask what is it sprayed with, and just make a decision from there. Stock up on your hay. Like I said in previous video, I have hay in different sections of this soggy bottom, and just preparing for the winter. This is Z-Man, and I'm out.